Hello. So today we're going to be reading a book that I actually quite like. It's a Horrid Henry and Hexrude Ralph book. Don't ask, I do ship them. This isn't my book, I just want to read it because it's one of my favorites. So let's get into it. This is chapter 1. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. It's not quite in my home, but everyone thought Henry was horrid. Everyone said so, even his mother. "What are you going to do about that horrid boy?" his mother sighed. "How do people as nice as that have such a horrid child?" exhaled his father. "Probably because y'all are horrible too." Everyone thought Peter was perfect. Everyone said so. "You make us so proud, you perfect boy," his mother smiled. Everyone loved to have a child as perfect as you, praised his father. Each day was the same as the last. "Henry, get downstairs right now and get ready for school. Otherwise there'll be no more television for a month," shouted his father from upstairs. Henry stared up at the cream ceiling of his messy room. He climbed out of his comfy bed while his stomach did somersaults of the thought of another day. All Henry wanted to do was go back to sleep, but he knew he would be severely punished. Henry was always being punished because everything he did was never good enough. He had stopped trying a long time ago to make his parents happy. With them always comparing him to perfect Peter, there was no way he'd be able to reach their expectations. His parents thought he wasn't good enough. This hurt him, but he would never show his true feelings. Instead, he would hide behind a horrible mask. Henry got to his feet and pushed past the many toys on the floor until he reached the door of his bedroom. As he walked down the stairs, he heard Purple Peter declare, "I'm downstairs and ready for school, Dad. I also tidied my room, dusted and vacuumed the living room, and polished my shoes." Peter, as much as I know you're my favorite character, but you're being such a little... Okay, back to the story. "You're such a wonderful boy, Henry. Oh, you're such a wonderful boy. Henry, why can't you be more like Peter?" his mother said while Henry came into the kitchen. This comment made Henry's hand flinch, but no one seemed to notice. Just like Henry, Peter wasn't all as he appeared. Peter also smirked smugly at Henry, who sat down at the breakfast table and poured out some sweet tweets into his bowl. He was used to his parents saying things like that, but each time it still stung. "Henry," his mother yelled, "put your chair closer to the table, you horrid boy." Each time his parents criticized him, he could feel himself slowly breaking. His parents weren't the only ones who would pick on him, though. "You're 5 minutes late. Detention," Miss Battleaxe screeched when Henry arrived in the school and in the third playground. "That's not fair. You let Peter in," protested Henry, watching Peter skip down the decorated corridor through the door. "And no whining." The only person who truly cared about Henry was the rude Ralph, his best friend, and the person he had a crush on for years. Yes, I ship it very much. Henry loved Ralph to pieces. Henry loved everything about him, his gorgeous eyes, his handsome face, and his amazing personality. Ralph was always had his back at school, especially when Margaret was in one of her moods. "Yet detention again, Boogie Brain. That's all you're really good for," Moody Margaret cackled. "Yeah, all you're really good for," Sour Susan sneered. Henry turned around in his seat to where Mark and Susan were sitting, growling with irritation. He glared at them with his dog-piercing eyes, but instead his heart felt another stick piece and break him down. "Why do you want to know? At least he's not a moody cow like you. You okay, Henry?" retorted Ralph, sitting down in his own seat. The rest of the class entered the spotless classroom. Henry sent Ralph a great smile, which Ralph returned with a wink and thumbs up. He was his best friend. No one could ask for him for another song sing in his heart when he felt the feeling that Ralph will only see him as a friend When Ralph winked and smiled at Henry, Henry wished Ralph would also give him a kiss. He loved Ralph too much. Okay, yeah, let me just back, because this is so cute, but it's also making my voice hurt, because I usually just read it so I'm willing to out loud. So, good morning, class, Miss Battleaxe said when everyone was sat down. Ray Ashton Primary has been lucky enough to get reparations at a nature park. This will be a splendid school trip where we will be able to learn how to camp for several days. You'll also learn about all the nature and animals while getting some fresh air in the process. Parents are also welcome to come along and help if they would like. Now, she eyed Henry, I want you all on your best behavior, so no horrid or unpleasantness. Yes, Miss Battleaxe, a class course. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. With excitement. Through the whole time Miss Battleaxe had been talking, Henry began to feel more and more dread. He would never be able to survive days on end in the wild with Moody, Margaret, and Miss Battleaxe breathing down his neck. It would be even worse if his parents decided to tag along, till at least he wouldn't be alone. He had Ralph by his side. The lesson seemed to drag on forever. Henry tried to pay attention, but it really didn't interest him. He ended up just doodling in the front of his book. Henry, pay attention, you horrid boy, Miss Battleaxe yelled. You're not going to get anywhere in life if you keep this up. Double detention plus the one you already have, triple detention. Henry felt another sting, but ignoring it like usual. But Miss Battleaxe, Ralph objected. Henry looked surprised at Ralph, and Ralph looked at him. He saw tears treating to fall out of his eyes, but of course Henry kept them inside and bottled up his feelings. With all the stress Miss Battleaxe, his parents and all his classmates were giving Henry, he felt like he could die any second, especially with the thought that Ralph would never love him in that way. Quiet, Ralph, or do you want detention as well? She scolded. The rest of the day continued in this manner. Henry would get scolded and punished harshly for really doing nothing at all. No one except Ralph would stand up for him. They would sit there stifling their laughter and amusement. Even though Ralph knew Henry wasn't happy at all, Ralph wished he could tell Henry how he really felt about him. Each harsh comment would leave Henry feeling a sting that would be more painful each time something cruel was said to him. Today was such a pleasant day, Peter sang, as he Today was such a pleasant day, Peter sang, as he and Henry walked home after school. How was your day? Peter gave Henry a sly leer. I don't have to tell you anything, Worm, Henry replied with a scowl. I'm going to tell Mom you called me names again. Peter started rushing down the empty path through the front gate of the house, past through the flower beds, and up the front door. Do what you like, Toad. Mom! Henry's calling me names again, Peter whined. Henry, don't be so horrid. Horrid children don't get dinner and have to go to bed early as punishment. Only good children get to stay up, his mother shouted through the doorway. Henry felt another sting. He walked past his brother, who had a triumphant smirk on his face, into the house. He trudged up his room, where he curled up on his bed and cried himself to sleep. Images and voices flashed through his mind as he cried. He would never be good enough. Henry collapsed on his bed and started quietly sobbing, thinking all about how everyone hates him. But most importantly, it's because he wished Ralph would be there next to him, cuddling, hugging, kissing Henry to comfort, not just giving him a high five as a friend. Ralph, I wish you call me yours. I wish you were kissing me and comforting me. I wish you know that I love you so much, Henry said quietly as he sobbed himself to sleep. Okay, that was end of chapter 1. This is going to be something where I read the whole thing, even though there's only 5 chapters, but then a sequel, and then another thing where they're grown up. But this is officially going to be something that I'll do from now on, reading this book. And so, yeah. Okay, my voice hurts. Don't ask why I picked this book. This is just one of my favorites. But bye.